This is Pet Life Radio. Let's talk pets.
Hello, pet lovers. This is Michelle Fern, your host on Best Bets for Pets. You know, these days we think of our fur babes as family, and it's only natural where you want to do something special for them when they eat. You know, add a little happy to their meal. Well, my guest today is going to tell us about his delicious new product and how you can add a little happy to your pet's meal, and it's very little effort on your part. We'll be right back.
Looking for a dental treat that does more for your dog? Daily Dose is a 2-in-1 chew that pairs a daily dental scrub with powerful supplements to help with the biggest health concerns facing our dogs. Daily Dose was developed by vets to be simple to use and super effective. Plus, dogs love the taste. Available for joint, skin, heart health, or calming. Daily Dose. Your pet's daily dose of awesome. Visit yourpetsdailydose.com to save $3 on your first bag with promo code PETLIFE. That's yourpetsdailydose.com.
Help your dog from the inside out with Caniotic Daily Probiotic for Dogs. Caniotic's superior and exclusive technology makes it the only dog probiotic from the dog for the dog. Your dog's gastrointestinal tract is important to their well-being, and a daily dose of Caniotic is one easy way you can support it. Caniotic, Caniotic, is available on Chewy.com. Add it to your cart today and give it a try.
Let's Talk Pets on PetLifeRadio.com.
Welcome back, everyone. I'd like to introduce Bill Hoffman. He's the Vice President of Sales for Applaws USA. Welcome, Bill.
Hi. Good to meet you, Michelle.
Nice to meet you, too. So I have to tell you, before we roll into all this, I had 2 dogs. Unfortunately, I lost one about a month ago, so I have just one. He's one of these little yappy guys, and he could be a little picky with his food sometime. And I had given him some of the Applause, samples that were sent. Thank you. But I thought, it's almost feeding time. Let me see how much he really likes this, kind of right before my interview. And I gave him the terrine, the chicken with pumpkin. And not knowing if I should mix it with the old, usually you mix it with the old food and so forth, and he gets wet and dry. Well, he ignored everything else. He took the treat out of the bowl so it didn't go near the other stuff and gobbled it. I mean, so fast. I was like, wow. So he definitely had a little happy with his meal. I mean, he was just amazed. And it looked so good. I thought, I could probably eat this. It's all natural and everything. So I just wanted to just give you kudos because I was shocked because he's usually picky.
Thank you so much. I appreciate that story. And, we hear stories just like that are really heartwarming to us, and it drives what we produce for people and their pets. And to your point, in our sales presentations where we are live back in the day when we used to meet with people, we would open up a product and sample it ourselves right in front of them. And just to prove that the hand-pulled chicken breast is really just that. This isn't mystery food. And, we've all grown up, I think, with our family pet. And anytime we didn't like something that we wanted to eat ourselves, we would often mislabel it as dog food or cat food because there was always this negative connotation that pet food was somehow inferior to something you and I would eat. And we're trying to solve that problem.
I want to interrupt you one second because I have the label for the terrine. And the first ingredient is chicken breast, and the second ingredient is chicken broth, and the third ingredient is pumpkin. So, we're savvy late these days with ingredients, so that says a lot.
It does. Thank you. We take the idea of limited ingredients very seriously. We have one product that hopefully you received, maybe as a sample, is our filet, and that's only 2 ingredients. It's simply a hand-cut white breast chicken meat with a little complementary rosemary. for added color and flavoring, and adds a nice antioxidant to boot.
Chicken with rosemary. That sounds like something I'd make for dinner, maybe, if I was having a fancy night, I mean,
Sure.
For me, that's amazing. I'm not sure if that was in the sample pack. I know we got some of a little everything. And let's talk about first, what is Applaws for people that haven't heard the name and they're like, okay, it sounds good. I haven't heard of it, but so what is Applaws?
Well, first off, Applaws is, as a name indicates, it's a fun play on words. It is applause as pets are applauding the product quality and the transparency that they, of course, would crave to have. And it's pause. So we took applause, the word applause, and pause, and sort of mixed it together to create our brand name. And we really wanted to celebrate the availability of human quality food made specifically for your pets. Applaws started in the US market. When it first entered, it catered to the cat customer. As we all know, cats are notoriously picky. And so we really wanted to understand what it takes to help pet parents with cats really enjoy that mealtime experience, giving cats added hydration, texture, and variety. From those key learnings, we also discovered from consumer insight that people that have dogs of all breed types, typically smaller dogs, tend to also be labeled as picky, just as you described your own. But all dogs of all sizes go through different phases, just like we do, where their meals might appear to be boring. Maybe a food that you've been feeding for a very long time all of a sudden seems disinteresting to them, or at the very least, pet parents feed with a certain amount of guilt attached. We hear about pet parents feeling that feeding that boring, dry, brown kibble every day throughout the life of that pet is something that just doesn't ever seem right. And oftentimes they wind up over-treating their pet in between meals, which of course has a potential side effect of gaining too much weight. So if we can make mealtime more nutritious, healthier, cleaner eating, which is important for people as well as for pets, and add hydration, add texture, everybody's just a lot happier, aren't they?
Of course. Now, these are basically to go, addition to the kibble.
Yes.
Okay. And I like that there's a variety because it just makes it more fun. You have the terrain, you have toppers, gravy, broth. Now, let's talk about how you should start. Say you decide to try Applaws, and sometimes when you try a new food with your dog, there's problems in the stomach. So what are recommendations if you're introducing your dog to Applaws for the first time?
Yeah, that's great. Well, first of all, we really believe that pet parents know their pets best. And while there's a tremendous number of brands on the market designed to solve particular dietary issues, this is a food that is entirely intended for a dog that everyone would consider healthy by all normal means. So we're not trying to solve a problem or fix anything. If you do have a known dietary issue, of course, you should consult your veterinarian and work with them on finding the best core diet, meaning that everyday based diet that they should be on all the time. Since our product is not asking customers to make a complete switch, this is genuinely complementary. It's meaning to just add a little bit more to their core based diet without really changing it at all. So the simplest first step would be to introduce the bone broth, because that is just what I said. It's bone broth. It's extremely simple. It's very easy to digest. It adds nice hydration without really any other texture or additional proteins necessarily, but adds a really nice texture and flavor profile to the kibble. That would be a great place to start if you feel that your pet has had sensitive stomach issues in the past. From there, you can move to our taste toppers, which is our nice shredded beef or shredded chicken or a shredded lamb. And each of those comes in its own broth. So you start to add a little more texture and a little more variety in terms of complementary ingredients such as broccoli or apple or quinoa. Really fun, nutritious ingredients, but they're in very small proportions, just enough to sort of excite and tease your pet just a bit, while again, you're allowing the kibble or whatever other food they normally eat to be still the base of their meal. occasionally, once you get your pet familiar and introduced to it and they're really craving that fun extra flavor, you can even feed this as a treat on its own in between meals or as an occasional meal replacement. We know of a lot of customers that like to travel with these products because they're convenient, they're individual portioned, and you can even give it to your pet as an occasional meal in between their other routine diet. So the choice is really up to the pet parent. And as you pointed out, we do have different varieties. We took two approaches to that variety. One was the protein. As I mentioned, we have beef as a main protein, we have chicken as a main protein, or we have a lamb formula. And in each of those, then you have different textures or hydration levels, all the way from pure liquid, which is our bone broth, to a completely dry morsel, if you will, of a loin. It's a nice fillet of beef with red bell pepper with no additional broth or anything with it. And you can feed it by itself and as a treat, or you can break it up in chunks and put it on your pet's food. And then you've mentioned the terrine. And then we have a product with gravy, which has a nice gravy-like texture. You can see the bits of herbs floating in it. And then we have a broth, which is a soupier sort of texture and great for pets' hydration. So those different texture profiles as well as flavor profiles really make for an endless combination of mealtime happiness.
I agree. And one thing I want to comment on too, which I thought was pretty cool, and I just thought it was just, wow. The packaging, especially for the bone broth, it's the same type of packaging that you see in baby food. It's like a pouch with a little screw top.
We take the idea that people are pet parents quite literally. And so we look at what moms and dads are buying for their children. And that's where we got the idea, was that the juice packs for human babies is a familiar product and people trust that that's a good quality. So we mimicked the same type of packaging to make it convenient for people. It's a product that they trust.
I thought that was really interesting because I don't think I've ever seen that. And I've had a lot of products on Best Bets for Pets and gone to many product shows, and I don't recall ever seeing packaging like that for our fur babes, for dogs. How did you decide on some of the, like you have apple, you have quinoa, you have broccoli, which my former fur babe, he loved broccoli, which I thought was so strange. You have, let's see, bell pepper, chickpeas, pumpkin I know dogs like, and it's really good for their stomach. Carrots I heard of, but some of these I haven't. White beans. How did you decide on some of the items that are in addition to the proteins?
Well, it's really three factors. One is, what are people feeding their own families today? Things like quinoa and other superfoods is a big topic. So we wanted to take a look at what the popular superfoods might look like. Then, of course, we involve a nutritionist. And we look at the nutritional values that these may help to enhance. They're in a very natural form. We don't do anything synthetically. We don't add any extra synthetic vitamins or anything. So whatever you're getting is genuinely what that natural ingredient provides, whether it's a higher fiber. Many of them have high antioxidants. Of course, broccoli is famous for high vitamin C content. So some of these do add or enhance certain nutrient profiles as well as fiber content. And then lastly, it's just visually interesting. We want to give the pet an opportunity as well as the pet parent to enjoy a real meal. And meal in many times comes in the form of texture, smell, as well as taste. So we accomplished all three of those objectives by selecting these superfoods to complement the protein sources. And it's working. Pet parents are thanking us for bringing something like this to market.
Well, I think it's great. And whatever we can do to make our dogs healthier, live longer, and, more of that is great. Now, you mentioned, well, you know what? I'm going to ask you that question right after this break. We're going to take a short break. We'll be right back.
I have a chocolate cocker spaniel named Lady and a blackmouth cur, and it's a lot of responsibility owning a dog. My dogs don't have any health problems. because they're eating what they need to eat.
DINOVITE.com.
Dynovite is like pouring a multivitamin right onto their food. We'll be scooping our Dynovite, then squirting the liquor chops in the fish oil. They start salivating.
You won't believe how happy your dog will be.
I get my Dynovite at DINOVITE.com.
Are you listening to this right now with a cell phone clenched between your teeth as you frantically flip pages on your paper calendars? Or are you a new breed of groomer, bred for speed and efficiency of movement? 123 Pet software automates your communications, doing the reminding, confirming, thanking, and marketing for you. 123 Pet centralizes your schedule, employees, clients, inventory, and more. 123 Pet is the business management software you need. Start minding your business today. Visit 123petsoftware.com.
Let's talk pets
Let's talk pets
on Pet Life Radio.
Pet Life Radio.
PetLifeRadio.com.
Welcome back, everyone. We're talking to Bill Hoffman about his Applaws Taste Toppers, his company's Applaws Taste Toppers, which are, according to Nikki, delicious. I didn't try it, but I wanted to. It looked really good. Now, you said you started first with cats, and I was actually going to ask you if the product came for cats because my cats were eyeing the food too. They ate first, but they were still eyeing it. And some of them, Nicky's a Havanese, he's not that big, and some of the cats are kind of big. So I'm surprised they let him eat. But how did you start with the cats, and what was the reaction with the cats?
Yeah, so our cat food is widely available throughout the U.S. We're in all major pet retail outlets, as well as a couple thousands local pet stores. And it's been on the market for about 6 years now, doing quite well. And we approach the cat market very similarly to the things that we just talked about. Limited ingredient products that people recognize in terms of that, turning over the back of the package and being able to recognize every one of those ingredients as something that you would purchase and feed your own family is very reassuring. Now, it is also complementary, meaning it's designed to go along with another core diet. It could be our complete and balanced dry kibble that Applaws makes for cats, or any other brand's kibble if you want to choose to use that or mix it with other wet formulas. But our key purpose of introducing something that was genuinely made of a human quality ingredients is that really was lacking in the market, and lacking in such a way that people could find it easily understood, that once you opened one of our cans, pots, pouch, any format packaging, that the product was consistently recognizable. It really is shredded chicken or hand flaked tuna. We took that simplicity and the popularity that we grew with solving many cat owners' sense of finickiness, and we knew we could bring that same kind of flavor profile and fun and interesting mealtime experience to dog owners. Now, typically, many people might say that their dog will gobble down anything. While that may be true, pet parents still can't resist doing those extra things to feel good about that mealtime experience. And particularly now, the times that we're all facing together, we're at home, and pet adoptions are way up, thank goodness. And people are really enjoying that family time with their pet every single day as a part of their normal life today. And because of that, we want to treat our pets a little extra special. And that's where these taste toppers have really taken off in popularity, because people are looking for a family connection time, often happens around mealtime. And yet, just scooping out that dry, boring kibble and putting it in the bowl doesn't quite feel like it's the rest of the family, while you're serving up a healthy dish of food for the rest of the folks. So let's include the pets into this experience and give them something very easy to prepare, looks exactly like something you might eat yourself. And everybody feels better about that. Your pets do better because they have fresh added ingredients, high protein, some added nutrients that we spoke about in a moment ago, such as antioxidants and fiber. And none of it disrupts the base of ingredients or kibble or whatever form of mealtime you already give your pet. We're not asking you to make that change. We're simply complementing it and giving some variety and hydration and adding that happiness.
I think it's a great idea because you're right. It adds a lot to your fur babe's mealtime. And, even though a lot of us are home, most of us are getting back to work and things are still a little, hectic, even though it's, I don't know, we're still in the pandemic. It's still a bizarre time. Applause makes it very easy for the pet parent. You're basically opening the package, sprinkling a little on. It looks like you cooked it yourself. It reminds me of some of the meals that us two-legged people have, where they would have certain meals where you just, I don't know, make a protein, add a little bit of stuff on top, and then it looks like you made it but from scratch. So it's just nice that it's easy for the pet parent and so nutritious for the pet. Here's something I'm wondering. Bill, do you have dogs or cats?
I have 2 cats, actually. Don't have a dog right now.
What are their favorites?
They love anything with tuna. Tuna and shrimp and tuna and calamari. Then we have a sockeye version as well, which they love the sockeye salmon. So I'd say those are their top 3 favorites. And they like the peeled top pot. They like the way the shreds and the amount of moisture that are in it. They just gobble it up.
There's one with calamari.
Yes.
I thought maybe you just threw that in because,
No.
or maybe you gave that to them when you were having calamari for dinner or something. Wow.
Actual rings of calamari, visual, recognizable little pieces of calamari are mixed in with their tuna, and they love that.
I know we're talking about the dog product because it's new to the market, but I just thought of something. The other show that I host is Catitude. I wonder if because it's a lot of TNR trappers out there use Applause because it's so flavorful. Have you had any stories like that?
We have had similar stories, yes. We've definitely had a lot of veterinarians and folks involved in rescuing and rehabilitating pets do use and or recommend for that initial time to spark their appetite, make sure that those cats have plenty of hydration, which is the most critical part with cats. As you know, they aren't driven to drink water out of a bowl. So making sure there's plenty of hydration in a cat's diet is critical to their health. That's not as much of an issue with all dogs because dogs will naturally be drawn to drinking out of water. However, what we like to take a look at is adding those extra nutrients while they're lapping up bone broth certainly could be a potentially healthier opportunity for the pet and a cleaner way to be giving your pet hydration with every meal. And when I say cleaner, not everybody, unfortunately, changes a fresh water bowl on every single meal time. And if it's, say, an outdoor dog that goes in and out, maybe that bowl's gotten a little bit dusty or dirty. And so they're not always apt to drink enough water because they're turned off by that. But adding hydration into either a cat or a dog's diet is always a helpful thing to do. Because of that high hydration and limited ingredient profile, to your point, it's great for rehabilitating rescued cats or cats who have undergone a tremendous amount of stress and you're trying to get them back onto a normal diet again. The Applause food helps to accomplish that.
And I'm also wondering, and it's maybe because it hits close to home because I, just lost a fur babe, but he was near the end. It was a little hard for him to eat and so forth. And unfortunately, that happens to pet parents from now and then. Maybe their dog is not that ill or is just going through something. But could the bone broth be added to? A lot of times you do chicken and rice, and it's not always quite enough to stir their appetite. Is the bone broth gentle enough to add to chicken and rice if you have to, make that they've had an upset stomach, they're just coming out of a surgery? Would the bone broth be okay? Gentle
Absolutely.
enough to not make them...
There's certainly nothing in our ingredient deck. As I read it here, it's chicken bone broth. We have some locust bean gum, which is a slight thickening agent, turmeric powder, which is very healthy, and some added parsley for flavor. So that's it. There's nothing else there. There's no artificial ingredients whatsoever. There's no artificial colors. It is 100% all natural. So it certainly doesn't have anything that could harm your pet. As always, we direct people to consult with their veterinarian anytime they're experiencing some abnormality or stomach issue, what have you. But under all normal circumstances, adding the bone broth would be a great welcome addition.
Okay, Bill, I have to say, I went to your website and looked at your blog, and I love the pictures of dogs you had because they weren't, perfectly groomed. Nothing against golden retrievers, but they weren't perfectly groomed golden retrievers that you see all over the place. They were dogs with like some spunk to them, like one had a little tooth sticking out in his smile, and one looked like he, I say he because I have a he, but he or she just, said they just have personality. Whose dogs are these? Did you guys choose them specially, or what's the story?
We did actually. We chose them because of their personality. They're so much fun. They each have their own unique story. We actually have told a brief profile story about them, and they're part of our extended family. They're all in the UK, and we know their families. We know about the background of each dog. We know their name, and they're all going to be available to sort of follow along their individual story. And they're contributing to our social media content. As you noticed, they're our celebrity or a hero, I should say, on our packaging. And they do certainly share that spunk of life and that happiness that was part of an everyday dog's life that we're trying to bring to all pet parents. So they are a lot of fun, and they're not just for hire celebrity dogs that we grabbed and took a bunch of pictures of. They're an extended part of our business family, and we follow along their lives. We help take care of them, and every one of them enjoys the Taste Toppers.
Okay, and if you want to see the dogs we're talking about, I believe it's applause.com, right, Bill?
It is.
Okay.
And you can go to the dog section or the cat section, or both, depending on what you're interested in.
All right. And guys, it's spelled APPLAWS.com, and it's on the episode page for this episode on PetLifeRadio.com. Bill, where can all of our pet parents, pet lovers find these delicious Applaws Toppers for their pets so they can add a little happy to their meals?
Yeah, well, the exciting part is that this is brand new to the market. The Applaws cat food is available in nearly 5,000 pet retail specialists, including Petco, PetSmart, and independent retailers across the nation. The dog product, Taste Toppers, that we're primarily speaking of today, has only been on the market about 8 weeks.
Wow.
And so it's available in a select number of Petco retail stores around the country. You can search our retail finder locator on our website to find one near you. And of course, you can always ask any of the local PetSmart or Petco stores to please special order it and bring it in just for you. And I'm sure that they're going to accommodate it. You can also find it on petco.com for your convenience anywhere in the US. And it's available in independent retail stores, as I mentioned. Wherever you find the cat food, those people have the access to bring in the new Taste Toppers. So if you don't see it there, please be sure to ask for it. Other independent retail stores, I'm sure, have ways that you can either order it online, pick it up at curbside, which I know is very popular right now, or find it in their stores.
Okay. All right. Great. Thank you for putting out a great product. It's always wonderful when there's a great product out there that's going to enhance your pet's meal and make it better for your pet, make it better for the pet parent. It's just great all around. So thank you so much. And thank you for coming on Best Bets for Pets.
My pleasure, Michelle. So thank you for the compliments, and let's stay in touch.
Well, I hope everybody enjoyed that. And again, if you want to add a little happy to your fur babe's meal, you'll want to check out Applaws. I'm telling you, Nikki loved it. And I'm going to have to get some for the cats too, because otherwise they're going to take Nikki's. I know it. So I want to thank my guest for coming on Best Bets for Pets. Thanks to Nikki for having the really tough job of sampling the delicious Applaws terrine and toppers. He didn't mind in the least. Thanks to my cat crew, which is Charlotte, Molly, and Dennis, and Sammy, and Jethro, and Jazz. Thanks to everyone listening for making Best Bets for Pets such a popular pet product show. And thanks, of course, to my producer, Mark Winter, for making me and my guests sound amazing. Now keep listening. We have a lot of great products coming up.
Let's Talk Pets, every week on demand, only on PetLifeRadio.com.